Today's video requires no introduction. In my opinion, Diogo Dalot has been Manchester United's player of the season so far. And today I'm going to tell you why. One of the main reasons why Diogo Dalot has been one of Manchester United's best players so far this season is because he has been available. Availability is the best ability, they say, and Diogo Dalot really encaptures that. Starting 24 of the 27 Premier League games so far this season for Manchester United. Now, the 3 which he didn't start, he wasn't injured. In fact, he hasn't been injured for over a year now. He was simply rested or rotated in those games. So in terms of availability, Dalot has been of huge importance. If you consider the rest of the Manchester United squad, the likes of Luke Shaw, Harry Maguire, Lisandro Martinez, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Tyrell Malacia, Casemiro, Kobbie Mainoo, Højlund, you get the picture. They've all had injuries. Diogo Dalot hasn't, and he has been available at all times. But not only has he been available, he's been available for different positions and different roles. Tactical versatility. We have seen him play 8 games at left back this season in all competitions, and the rest of them at right back. But he's not only versatile in the sense of playing left or right, it's also the roles with which he plays, depending on what side he's on. For example, in recent weeks we've seen him tucked into more of a back 3. With different players out injured, he's had a new role. He's often played from the right hand side, tucked into a back 3. However, the weeks prior to that, we saw him in more of a midfield role. The other fullback on the other side would drop a little bit deeper, and Dalot would come into this position here, inverting into midfield. We've seen him play on the left hand side of the defence where he kind of overlaps and provides the width. But we've also seen him play from the left hand side and invert into midfield. So not only has he been available for pretty much every game of this season, he's also been available and ready to play different positions to a high level. This is one of the main reasons why, in my opinion, Dalot has been one of our most important players and one of our best performers. And this has of course made him the manager's absolute dream this season. But not only in the sense of the role he plays and things like that, but also the actual ability which he has brought to the pitch.
So before we continue into the video, a quick shout out to today's video sponsor, jerseyfifa.com, the home of all of the greatest football kits. Whether that be the new latest releases or the old classic ones like this, Jersey FIFA has something for everyone, and now you can check it out yourself using the link in the description down below. And also make sure to use code JerseyFIFA for 10% off when you order.
As I have said a few times in recent weeks, in my opinion, Dalot is one of the few Manchester United players which is actually comfortable with the ball at his feet in tight spaces. And he's comfortable being a problem solver because he is press resistant. I'm not going to go through clips of this because we spoke about it fairly recently, but Dalot is comfortable, whether out wide or in a more central position. He is comfortable receiving the ball under pressure, and that is so valuable to this Manchester United side. If you think Harry Maguire doesn't like to do that, Varane doesn't like to do that, Casemiro doesn't like to do that, a lot of our deeper based players don't like to do it, especially with Luke Shaw and Lisandro Martinez out for most of the season. Dalot has been the regular, the reliable player where you can pass the ball to him and he's going to be comfortable with the ball and he's going to try and solve the problem. And again, one of the reasons for that has been press resistance, the ability to scan what's around him before he receives the ball, allowing him to make the right decision, but also the fact that he is two-footed. He is comfortable using either foot, so should the opposition press him onto his left foot, this might be a problem for some players, but not for Dalot. He's been able to switch to play and play out of the opposition's press. If you think most teams press heavy on one side of the pitch, they try and force you one way and then crowd that side of the pitch. The ability for Dalot to then come inside onto his so-called weaker foot and switch to play allows United to get out of the press. So that is why, in my opinion, Dalot has been one of our best players. In the first phase, he has been absolutely crucial all season long. Because again, he's been reliable, he's been ready to play, but then when he has played, he has given us a level of performance, a level of composure, control, and an understanding of tempo, playing out from the back, which has been hugely important. But not only has he had those traits, he's also had progressive traits to his game as well. Whether that be carrying the ball forward, taking players on in the dribble, or looking to pass the ball forward through the lines, Dalot has added something to his game this season. For me, he's always been a pretty decent passer, but I was always a little bit sceptical about his ability to carry the ball past a man. I think he's kicked on there. I think he's really kicked on there, and I think he uses his body much better now. The amount of times you see him get himself between the ball and the opposition, meaning that he basically can't be tackled without being fouled, it's increased a lot this season, and he's really improved in the sense of using his body, again giving him a bit more control of the ball, allowing him to then play forward. And I think this is represented in the fact that in terms of miscontrols in the Premier League this season, it just doesn't happen. He's always in control of the ball, and that comes from using his body to a greater extent. And then, like I said, from there, progressing the play. That can be from a more centralised position in the midfield, firing the passes forward for someone like Kobbie Mainoo to receive. But it's that ability, once again, to take several players out of the game with one line-breaking pass. This is what Dalot has always had, in my opinion, and I think he just keeps improving in this area. And we've also seen that he can do it from the back as well. He can be a long passer. So when he does tuck into the back three, the ability to be progressive with longer range passing. Sometimes that will be a hooked ball over the top for someone like Garnacho to run onto, or Antony, or Marcus Rashford, whoever it may be on the right wing. This is something else which Dalot has offered this season. The long ball, the out ball to go over the opposition's press. So again, he's progressing the ball forward for the side. So he's composed at the back, allowing United to get out of trouble. He's then in midfield, progressing the ball for the side. Not forcing it forward, like some of our players do. Of course, we have seen so far Dalot putting in a lot of work to move the side up the pitch, through the thirds, through the phases of play, to get us into more beneficial positions, more dangerous positions, more threatening areas in the final third. But his work hasn't stopped there this season, because he has also been a huge player for us in the final third. And it hasn't been made easy for him, because he's had a different right winger in front of him almost every game. Second half of the season, it's been Garnacho a bit more. There was a spell where Marcus Rashford played there for a couple of games. Antony, of course, earlier on in the season. We've seen Amad Diallo given a couple of games here and there in this position. Dalot is another player who has suffered with the fact that he hasn't been able to build a regular understanding with someone. Now, I do think we've seen it more with Garnacho since the turn of the second half of the season, but I'd still like to see it more. So he hasn't been helped in that way. But regardless, he's been very, very helpful for us in the final third. And I think it's his understanding of movements have improved. So understanding that when the ball goes wide, that's your cue to make an underlapping run. To either drag this runner and create room for your winger, or to actually get the ball yourself. So I think Dalot has really improved his attacking intelligence, his runs off the ball, his manipulation of space, finding these pockets of space in the final third. In this area, I think I would still like to see a little bit of improvement. You know, crosses into the box, he's got assists from a few of them, but I would like to see greater output in this way. I would like to see a higher volume of cutbacks and things like that. But in general, I do think this is another area where he has improved. Hopefully he can continue to do so. We've also seen, though, the ability to pick up these spaces, these sort of half spaces outside of the penalty area, where from, once again, he can cross, he can slide a pass through to someone like Rasmus Højlund. We've seen examples of that this season, or even the occasional long shot. We saw that as early as pre-season, but he's also done it during the season as well, with a couple of really, really very good goals. So again, if Dalot can continue to do that, but also grow in that way, he could be a very, very impressive player. And again, I think in possession, he has been one of our most important players. But it's not just that. I also think he's improved from a defensive point of view as well. See, what we had a few seasons ago was that he was competing in a lot of duels in terms of 1-versus-1 situations, but his percentages were not very good. I always tend to think back to this battle against Villarreal and Danjuma. Dalot just got completely cooked in that game in a 1-versus-1 situation. What we can see this season is that, yes, he isn't competing in as many 1-versus-1 duels, perhaps due to being targeted less, but he is winning a higher percentage. His 1-versus-1 defending has improved immensely. He's still not Aaron Wan-Bissaka level, but not many players are. But considering the technical aspect which you get on the ball, to then have a very solid defensive base as well, which he has developed, is super impressive. He also defends the box reasonably well. You know, he's quite tall, he's fairly good at the back post. The one thing I would like him to get rid of from a defensive point of view is just those random lapses of concentration. He seems to have it in every game. Every game he just has that one moment where you think, there's the old Dalot. He's back again. If Dalot can get rid of that, if he can get rid of those lapses of concentration, and he can also improve his attacking output in the final third of the pitch, we could be talking about and looking at one of the best right-backs in the Premier League. I genuinely believe that. I think he has come on leaps and bounds. The challenge, of course, now is consistency. He's done it for a long time so far this season. To be a top defender, you have to do it more than one season. You have to do it 2, 3, 4 seasons. That's a challenge now for Diogo Dalot. Can he do that? We're going to have to wait and see. But certainly this season, he has been one of Manchester United's most important players, but also, truthfully, I think one of our best performing players. And that's why, for me, he is our player of the season so far. But let me know what you think in the comments down below. Do you agree? Do you think there has been someone better? If so, who? What do you think has been good about Dalot's game? And also, where would you like to see improvement? All of that stuff get in the comments down below and let me know what you think. But apart from that, I am finished for today. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.